So the t-shirts don't bother me. But why do you take a shot at the Golden Goose, Caitlin Clark? You guys were flying before she arrived on one of those airlines that made you pay for a cup of water. One of those airlines that is the planes are the color of a highlighter. Now you're...
Just when you believed that the world of sports media was at last prepared to accept greatness, Colin Cowherd drops a truth bomb that breaks through all the political correctness, all the noise, and all the meticulously constructed narratives that have been shielding the true story base, just when you thought they were ready to openly celebrate the generational talent that is Caitlin Clark.
These players are so damn pissed off that there's one player that has sparked all of this. Attendance, ratings, viewership, gate revenue, all this. Not only that, but they set back. She makes a dig like this after literally just seeing All-Star Game tickets dropped by 50% in value. They literally went from an average walk-in price of $121 to 64 bones. 64 bucks to get in once Caitlin Clark's injury came out that she wasn't going to play.
And by real story, I mean the unsettling truth that has been glaring at us for months. Instead of providing a warm welcome to their golden goose, their ratings magnet, and their literal salvation, the WNBA has allowed a culture of jealousy, bitterness, and let's be honest, ethnic bigotry to thrive unchecked.
If you're in a band and you're staying at the Motel 6 and you add a band member and now you're at the Ritz-Carlton, keep your issues to yourself. All right? You went from a Motel 6 in a sketchy part of town to a Four Seasons in the shopping district. Stop talking. I don't mind the t-shirts. I think you have leverage. I think you deserve more than 9%. But it's just misstep after misstep. It's time to grow up, girls. Like fast. Like this is the player that got you off the airline that was bright yellow. Right? She got you an upgrade to a better hotel as a band member. So
After decades of calling games and analyzing sports psychology, Colin Cowherd finally voiced what everyone else had been too scared to mutter. Cowherd revealed the dark side of what's truly fueling the animosity toward the Iowa phenomenon during a recent episode of The Herd.
And Colin Cowherd, he's got the biggest radio show in the country. A guy that wouldn't, he could lose all the bets 2 years ago. He could lose all the bets. Maybe this side of being at gunpoint 2 years ago, this man is not talking about the WNBA. But he has come out and he has talked about the fact that Caitlin Clark is the one that's moving the needle. Caitlin Clark has made him reevaluate the way he takes vacation during the off-football.
Clearly, there's a component here, Cowherd said. He then unlocked a door that the sports business had been frantically attempting to keep closed. This was not just a hot take meant to get clicks. This was a seasoned announcer who has dedicated his professional life to comprehending the psychology of sports, suddenly recognizing what the statistics, voting trends, and on-court conduct have been screaming for months.
Only going to get more profitable as women's basketball gets better, as the Caitlin Clark momentum train gets bigger. I mean, this year she's not playing well, she's hurt, she's not there for all the games, so this is actually not as great as it could be. Like Michael Jordan, hurt year 2, next 12 years were legendary. That's what it's going to be. So I think they deserve a big raise, maybe not 50% of revenues, because NBA stars, there's a lot of them, and they move the needle. The WNBA stars, well, there's one that...
The evidence is damning and overwhelming. The lady who turned the WNBA from an afterthought into appointment television, Caitlin Clark, was selected as the 9th best guard in the league when WNBA players were asked to vote for all-star guards. The 9th, not 2nd, not 3rd, but 9th behind athletes whose livelihoods hinged on their ability to attract flies to a picnic.
So crazy. And part of this is their way to like I said, middle finger Caitlin Clark supporters and her fans. And I mean, sometimes I wonder, are they hoping for the soundbite? I don't get it. But it makes them look absolutely terrible. They thought they were going to come into the league and capture everybody's imagination, and I was a hot shot coming in from college. Watch me, the ratings are about to take off. Asia Wilson walked in, and it wasn't even a bleep on the radio.
Subscribe if you're enjoying it. Take a moment to consider that. With a record-breaking 1.3 million votes, Clark was chosen first out of all the guards by the fans who paid to watch these games. She received the third-place vote from the media, experts tasked with impartially assessing talent. However, her peers, the female players who share practice facilities and locker rooms with her, decided that 8 guards were more worthy of praise than the athlete who set attendance records, sold out arenas, and obtained private jets for the league as a whole. Cowherd noted that the pettiness has no boundaries. And he's entirely correct. This is more than simply pettiness, though. It's something far more subtle. It's hard to dismiss. The image that emerges when you consider the targeting, the physical play, the pattern of behavior, and now the vote results.
Caitlin Clark finished 9th in player voting. In fact, she finished behind one of her own teammates in player voting for the All-Star game. The pettiness has no bounds. But it's interesting, for years, the WNBA players were pointing fingers. They were saying people are sexist, the media is sexist, we're not being promoted, we're underappreciated. And then they get the golden goose and they don't like what it looks like.
Caitlin Clark had a clean injury report going into the season, which is unique in her basketball career. Clark had been the epitome of health and durability during his 4 years at Iowa, playing 139 straight games and participating in every game of the debut WNBA season, including the playoffs. She was an iron woman who could withstand the demands of professional basketball without losing her cool. She was literally injury-free when her second WNBA season arrived, the player who had never missed a game because of an injury in her career was unexpectedly sidelined 10 times. Basketball's most resilient player is now a vulnerable patient who spends more time in hospitals than on basketball courts due to 3 different injuries: a left quad strain, a left groin injury, and a right groin injury.
And that's what we was saying, like, y'all don't think like all that hacking her and fouling her nonstop, all like y'all should have just like y'all, like, it wasn't smart for it. Like, y'all have the negotiations now. Like, y'all are negotiating now. Why would y'all want her to be out and it reflecting the numbers? Like, why would...
This abrupt change from being previously injury-free to being out all the time isn't occurring alone. It's taking place in a league where rival players have acknowledged that they approach Clark in a unique way. Aya Wilson is currently not being picked up full court. According to one analyst, Caitlin Clark is treated differently by them. They take a distinct stance toward Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark has been picked up from full court and treated differently for the past 2 years. In a row in the WNBA, for her, the body has changed. Legendary UConn coach Gino Orama felt obliged to speak out because the targeting is so clear. Clark is being singled out with physical play that goes beyond what is typically expected of a rookie. I can't recall the exact moment that Magic Johnson and Larry Bird entered the NBA and revolutionized it. Due to their identity and the attention they were receiving, they were singled out and beaten.
Women's game is actually fun to watch until you see 3 women, basically box in Caitlin Clark and take a shot. Just boom. What is that about? And then you see the WNBA officials who completely disregard it, just walk, just like it didn't happen. Like it didn't happen. I mean, I've seen moves by these women that look like lamb beer on Bird, and there's not even a foul called, much less a guy being thrown.
However, this is where Cowherd's insight really shines. This goes beyond basketball. This relates to Clark's persona as a young, white, heterosexual woman from the Midwest of America who has emerged as the spokesperson for a league that has historically been dominated by athletes who identify as Black or LGBTQ+. According to one scholarly research, Clark has evolved into a male sportscaster's stand-in in a league that was formerly dominated by Black and LGBTQ athletes that the general public felt comfortable ignoring. Many WNBA players and establishment leaders appear more upset about who is delivering success to their league than appreciative of the achievement itself, which is an uncomfortable reality that Cowherd revealed they desired a private flight. Their goal was to get more popularity. They will receive the better deal they sought in the CBA. They desired arenas to be fully booked. They understood, Cowherd clarified, they simply don't believe that this is how things should be. Fans are posting on social media about the missed calls, the double standards, and the blatant bias against Clark.
See a racial component here. The WNBA players, they just don't like what the wave looks like. They wanted to fly private. They wanted to be more popular. They wanted a better deal in the CBA, which they'll get. They wanted sold out arenas. They got it. They don't necessarily think it should be this. But again, you can't fight it. You just never know what success.
The fact that mainstream commentators, such as Cowherd, who often steer clear of contentious subjects, are suddenly compelled to admit what is occurring is what makes this more terrible. ESPN's renowned college basketball analyst Dick Vitale described the All-Star voting result as nothing more than jealousy. Michelle Toya called it an activist vote by WNBA women who can't tolerate her success. The pattern of conduct displayed by WNBA officials and referees is much more concerning. Clark is seen on video after video absorbing contact that would have resulted in other players receiving egregious fouls, yet officials either treated it as a common foul or made no calls at all. These women have been working tirelessly to promote basketball in the WNBA, and it is evident when she displays even the smallest emotion following a missed shot. They have been working hard to increase the sport's global audience. Through all of this, they have been working hard after that. There's this lady from college who is a complete transformation. She has essentially taken on the role of the league's spokesperson.
It's Caitlin Clark. She is a white girl in a predominantly Black league who's better than all of them. Even with everything that's going right now with the Pay Us What You Owe Us shirt, you saw Kelsey Plum at the end of it tattletale basically and bring out Caitlin Clark about her team not being there. So there's always...
What George and others miss, however, is this. No one gave Clark anything. She deserved every bit of her accomplishment because to her record-breaking performances, amazing clutch play, and a strong work ethic that allowed her to play in 139 straight games at Iowa without getting hurt. It is absurd to believe that her achievement is somehow unmerited or that she must gain the respect of players who are unable to provide even a small portion of her influence. Cowherd revealed that basketball merit isn't at issue here. It's about dissatisfaction that the WNBA's public image doesn't reflect what some people believe it ought to. Basketball icon Nancy Lieberman urged WNBA players to support Clark instead of disparaging her, saying, "Embrace it if she happens to be the cash cow right now. Avoid being petty." However, the pettiness persists and is beginning to have tangible repercussions. Rather than applauding her comeback, the league let the targeting go on until her body finally failed.
The league loses over $40 million a year and has never profited in its 28-year history. Caitlin Clark is the only one that has brought some relevance to the game, and it's still unwatchable. I don't care who you are. If you say otherwise, you have no credibility. This is more like a rec league. They should be paying $100 per person. The only difference with their rec league is we are forced to watch it and hear about it on news media outlets all the time.
The most frustrating aspect is that Kathy Engelbert, the WNBA's commissioner, keeps downplaying the evident targeting, claiming that fans are only criticizing the aggressive play to obtain what they want. This is the same commissioner who has seen the biggest star in her league go from being injury-free for a long time to being sidelined all the time while rival players acknowledge that they treat her differently than the others. This is the league's golden goose, and they're systematically allowing her to be brutalized, Cowherd observed. Cowherd told the WNBA players who were criticizing Clark, "You guys were flying before she arrived on one of those airlines that made you pay for a cup of water. You're flying private now. Don't discuss your problems with others." Clark used to be an iron lady who never missed a game, but now her body is failing due to the ongoing physical abuse and harassment.